Shortly after the turn of the century, Samuel Kamaka began crafting koa wood ukuleles from the basement of his Kaimuki, Hawaii home. In 1916, he formed his one-man shop, Kamaka Ukulele and Guitar Works, and soon established a solid reputation for making only the highest quality ukuleles. During the 30s, Sam Sr. introduced his two sons, Samuel Jr. and Frederick, to the craft of ukulele making, even though the boys were only in elementary school. As the Kamaka legacy moves forward, it is important to reflect on what has made the company endure. The guiding philosophy at Kamaka Hawaii has always been the candid but sensible advice handed down from Sam Sr. to sons. If you make instruments and use the family name, don't make junk. All right. That was a fun jam.
Oh,
My
that
stomach
was
was
fun.
growling the whole time. Strangely. Hope nobody heard that.
I thought it was the instrument growling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't more like a... It was
No,
more
no,
like
no.
a...
It was more like
Okay.
a pleasant and appealing
I'm
growl.
very happy to hear that.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Well, when am I doing putting this back?
You know what's crazy is that like you and I are playing like two different
Clay's just watching my
Camera just decided to
my
take a nap
camera.
real quick. But
but tonight's
two different tenors.
Yeah, two different types of tenors. Both of them are deluxe models from the world famous Kamaka Ukulele. And the one I'm playing is the HF3DC, which stands for deluxe cedar top, but also there's an added I, which means the slotted headstock. And I actually own a similar model myself, except it has the traditional headstock and a more kind of like a satin finish. But this is probably my favorite deluxe model, even when compared to the super curly koa with all the abalone inlays.
In fact, you own one.
Dang.
Just without the slotted head stuff.
Well, I have two, but I only own one.
You don't have to brag about it.
No, one is a loaner, but yeah. So this features a few upgraded options such as rope binding, rosewood binding also. So you have rope inlay going around the body, the rosette, and rosewood binding as well. A really nice set of Hawaiian koa. And of course the cedar top and all of the dressings that you would expect on a slotted head deluxe model. Really good, warm, deep, good projection. And then Corey has the spruce top version.
So all the same features, just with a different top, spruce top. And I don't remember what spruce it was, sorry.
Sitka.
It's always Sitka, right?
Usually.
Okay.
I gotta say, it's super sweet to have these back in stock. Glorious slot head Kamakas.
It's been a good minute.
So here's the HF3DC-I. Let's take a listen.
Beautiful. Okay, Corey.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
Tell us what the I stands for.
So, Ipuka. And it stands for passageway, for light or air, either one. And yeah, I have the HF3DS S for spruce. And the difference generally between spruce and cedar, spruce is usually brighter, a little bit louder, in my opinion. I hear a little bit more volume that comes out of spruce. But
Oh yeah.
this is Sitka spruce, and generally people use the word warmth. You know, because there is some warmth. Some people think it's the warmest spruce that's out there. I would have to agree.
It's interesting though because like there's many different types of spruce too.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
So, but the ones you hear, Sitka, Adirondack, Engelmann, they're all pretty different in their own way. But
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, Kalei was mentioning how the Engelmann has a really rich mid-tone that also is really warm. But yeah, Sitka's sweet with that nice low end, and every instrument is individual, but this one has a nice warm sound.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
so where are these? Where is the passageway that lets light through on this?
I believe it's right here.
That's one thing we forgot to mention. We're holding the slotted head stock deluxe versions of these.
Oh, you got the one with the better Koa faceplate.
Yeah, but the back of your never mind. Like the koa on this,
No,
the
so
back of this.
This one's super nice too.
They're both nice. I mean, I would
Has
say
a,
like as far as like curliness, they're kind of equal, or that one's like slightly has a little bit more.
What's the word of the day is chatoyance. Or chatoyance. I'm not going to say it like that. But the HF3 DSI. Check it out. It is indeed a very sweet sounding ukulele.
Both of them are.
I love how figured the headstocks are too.
No.
Am I just looking at the... No, yeah, this one is super nice, but I'm jealous of that faceplate.
But this one's more of like a wavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Looks
don't like
nice.
that.
They both look nice though. Who cares? They both sound amazing.
Corey texted me this morning something like, holy crap, I got to Kamaka and I thought I could fit all these ukes in my... He's got a fairly big SUV.
Yeah.
It's just...
I didn't prepare for it. I was talking to Tony, the guy in the front, our good friend. I misunderstood. He was apologizing to me when I got there, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I thought you knew. I thought it was 12, just a couple ukes, and I realized it was 12 boxes. And there's 4 to a box. So,
dang.
I was expecting to pick up 2 boxes, or 12 boxes. 3 boxes. I mean, 12 units, 3 boxes. Then I get there, Tekla's like, "Do you have a truck? I hope you have space." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got space for 12 ukes." She's like, she looks at me like,
I could just imagine like the look she was giving you. She's trying to be like.
Well, the thing is, Tony didn't know. He looks at me. He's like, "Hey, So she's like, "Go take him upstairs and go show him what it looks like." I'm like, "Oh, what was it, like 16 ukes?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, it was 12 boxes, not 12 ukuleles. There's definitely 12 ukuleles here, but
all right.
Plus,
so what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna sample most of every size, and then what we're also gonna do is we're gonna sample after it the same model with a string set that we also like. The Kamaka string sets are great. It's just we're gonna show you guys another option if you guys want to consider that. And for all of you guys that aren't in the maybe market for a new uke, you can check out the differences you hear in the strings, and that's a fairly inexpensive way to get a different sound out of your instrument. So
definitely, if you want to try something new, get inspired in a different way. I always see it in that way when changing strings. I end up playing differently.
Yeah, like even same for me. When you switch through like a bright sounding set to a warm sounding set, it really affects like everything you do on it. Like how hard you play, what type of music you play on there.
Yeah. We've been playing ukulele for so long. What
inspires you with it is
I used to think
just like different instruments, changing the string set can do the similar thing.
I used to, dog on these strings. I never really liked them, even though these were the strings. These are the first strings I ever played, and I used to think, "Wow, this is amazing." Until Aquila strings came out, and then fluorocarbon strings came out. But then, over time, playing ukulele for so long, I started to appreciate the sound of even just the basic black nylon strings, or even the clear ones. You like the clear ones?
Yeah, I do. I like clear nylon because they seem to last long. They have a warm sound.
They last forever,
and they feel nice on your fingers. The black nylon strings tend to have a higher tension. There's, slightly denser in feel.
It matches your playing because there's times you're digging in.
These types of strings, probably will last the longest out of all those other types of string sets.
You can beat these strings up.
Oh yeah.
Well, they handle dynamics really well.
I played one of my uncle's old Kamaka ukuleles, and he had it since he was 13, and then or even longer than that. And it had the original set of Kamaka black strings on there, and I was just like,
wow,
dang, these things last forever. So trust us when we say these are good strings.
All right, I'm currently looking at the time. It's 9:46 p.m. So I better stop talking, and we better start getting you guys on these ukes. Let's do it.
This was the very first Kamaka I've ever played. Very first ukulele I started on.
Wow.
And it belonged to my auntie, who was kind enough.
Model, just
the
for clarity.
HF2 with the good old Gumby headstock. That's what I used to think of. It's has upgraded features from back then. Has the Goto tuners from the factory. These are our favorite tuners. You can see, if you don't have friction tuners already, you definitely need these. And we've upgraded a lot of older, vintage Kamakas. People came in, they're like, I want to get the new tuners. And it's such a great addition because the older ones are a little bit harder to work with. And, sometimes you have to oil the screw, you have to tighten, you have to, release the tension. Sometimes, you can actually adjust how tight you want for the grip on the Goto tuners.
Oh my god, these are so much better than the old Schaller friction.
Yes, there's so much problem solved by switching to these.
I've repaired tons of Kamakas, especially back in the day when we had a repair department.
Imagine if we had these a little bit earlier.
No, what I was gonna say, and I don't know if you guys have seen this too, is I used to see a lot of these concerts with a Tiki glued to the headstock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some era where I don't know if it was Kamaka, but it seems like it was some aftermarket thing that got trendy maybe.
It is a thing, and actually those are very limited.
Did Kamaka do it, or did somebody do it afterwards?
What is interesting is that I should know this.
If anybody knows,
but
if you can comment and enlighten us on the story of the Tikis, because I've seen a ton come through. I'm like,
there's a bunch.
The first time I seen it, I'm like,
next time you're down at the factory, if you remember, try to ask too. We could always put in the question to them. But...
Yeah.
And I think those are actually numbered too. There's
I heard it was a
Tiki
series
number 026, as an example.
Oh, okay.
There's also that Keiki ukuleles.
Well, yeah, those were made in Japan.
Yeah, those are
mahogany,
Japanese made.
And those are real. I've heard people question whether it's a.
Oh no, I've repaired a number of those, and
yeah,
they're great.
The ones that turn up nowadays,
they were
people think they're fake.
There was a period of time where Kamaka supplied all the schools here with their ukuleles, and there was ukulele programs.
I take that back. My very first Kamaka was a soprano, because in the 4th grade, it was a Kamaka soprano.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
right on.
I wonder if they're still there.
How's this one in Kalei's hands? Gorgeous wood.
I know, and this is just a HF1 soprano. This is kind of the flagship. I guess you could say, the flagship, the iconic.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not flagship, but
the. Well, I guess you could say this is probably the most iconic
definitely
ukulele. Not just model, but
standard size.
standard size ukulele out there. It's a Kamaka HS1, which is a soprano. Growing up here in Hawaii, you know, besides calling it a soprano, we also call it a standard size ukulele, because this is what most of us started on. A lot of our parents, loved ones, grandparents, you know, multiple generations have gotten the chance to play these amazing instruments. And Kamaka has been around for a while, and this is one of the ukuleles or models that is associated very closely with Hawaii because of the iconic build style, the finish, the logo. I mean,
the sound,
especially the sound. I mean, it sounds very similar, but there's also some upgraded features as far as like build quality over the years that they are producing now. So these are definitely souped up versions of the ones that we're all kind of familiar with here in the islands. And yeah, these are great. They have good tone, good volume, sustain, playability. You know, there's a whole lot of ways you can kind of like dial in your tone as far as like what you want from a soprano. But, you know, a Kamaka HS1 can't go wrong. Okay, so we have another HF1 soprano Kamaka ukulele, and this has an example of some extra options that we have available for all of you folks that are shopping with us. This is a new type of string set that is now currently available. This is from aNueNue Ukulele. This is the soprano / concert Clearwater Strings. This actually is made in Japan. You get all of like the great tonal properties and sustain that you would expect from a fluorocarbon set, now available for both, or not just both, but concert, soprano, and also tenor. So check them out.
Woo! Very nice. I have the HF2 concert with the stock Kamaka strings. Let's check it out.
Deeper and brighter.
Yeah.
But it still has the soloist, right?
This is such a nice set to play whatever, just, you know, very delicately.
That's a nice little progression.
Thank you. It's not ragtime ukulele, but it's like a jazz kind of. You know, it was when we were playing Abe's thing. I was trying to figure out something like that.
Oh yeah, it's so awesome to play with great musicians. You get other
Yeah, I
ideas.
play
and-
with Kalei all the time.
I know,
I
right?
mean, I was gonna say, it's like, oh, especially if you get to play with Abe. That's like musical inspiration.
He told us when he comes in July, he's gonna come back with
Yeah.
do a trio session. That's gonna be
Ooh.
Okay.
it's gonna be
I'm
hot.
nervous.
You said July?
Shout out to Uke Logic Strings. Those
Yeah.
sound so good.
So we have a classic, iconic Kamaka HF3 tenor ukulele, and this is strung up with the stock Kamaka black nylon strings. Let's give it a listen.
Great, but can we talk about that wood grain for a little while?
All of these on this batch look so good.
That's what's crazy.
Alright, so this isn't really like a necessarily fair comparison, but it's a common loved set.
Aho fluorocarbon sets are in different gauges when compared to the other string sets out there. So you get a different type of sound. So if you like this, go check out those strings.
Sorry.
Did I hear something ring out?
No, accidentally, yeah. I accidentally tapped the strings. And
Man, sounds so good
Sorry.
with the Aho set.
Oh, like something quick for AB.
Oh yeah.
Both ways sound good.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that like they both have different types of G strings. Not only is the string sets different, but I think it just depends on the type of style you like to play.
HF3 long neck stock strings.
What's that piece?
Oh, just some Asian sounding chord progression. So, HF3 long neck with the aNueNue Blackwater string set. High G.
the sparkle is just, oh,
Yeah, that was
crystal.
I gotta do that again with the. I don't think it's too bright. Oh, it's like, yeah, you gotta attack it.
It has a lot of
very
sustain.
delicate
It's
way.
like
Yeah.
the notes just kind of ring out just a few seconds longer. And sometimes that can make a huge difference in like how you
Big
approach the
difference.
sound.
And how you can arrange if you're arranging pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want this part to be a little bit more dramatic because
Plus, too, the
milk
aNueNue Blackwater strings are like a lower tension than the Kamaka stock strings.
Yeah. No, actually, I think it's about the same. You know,
Really?
it's about the same. In fact,
Almost
this
feel
might
like-
be even harder.
Really?
Might be.
Okay, so I must be like.
I don't know.
imagining things.
It might just be.
What's
I
a
don't mean- I
skinnier
gotta do it
string,
again.
but fluorocarbon is more dense than nylon, so it's kind of. Yeah.
I've always noticed that like the Kamaka strings tend to like dig into my fingers a little bit more.
Thicker, yeah.
I think it might be the gauge,
Yeah.
and also black nylon is denser than clear.
A little bit.
Next size up in ukulele world is the baritone.
The big berry. I like that chord. But it's like yeah, you do this, but then you sharp that. You sharp your ring finger.
My ring finger?
Yeah. Sharp. So like at the big. Yeah. I like that chord. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a sign of approval?
Oh, that was like double approval.
All right.
I was just like, yeah,
I'll take it.
If
I was
don't
playing
have
in the wrong key for a while, but I guess nobody noticed. I was playing in D the whole time. I'm like, oh wait.
Oh no, I was too. It was D. The only
I
note
thought it
that
was
was
an
well, I mean, like when you think about it,
Yeah, yeah.
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
thinking D, but technically in tuning it's A.
No, yeah, you were. Yeah. Yes.
So you were still correct.
No, I was playing in D guitar.
Oh, like
I was actually playing in G.
yeah. But then if you know that still would
Kind of
still
like
work.
wild card. Could be either one.
You know, if you went like
Oh, just like, hey, we learned a new term today.
Mode? What sort of?
Modal interchange.
so we have here the HF4 strung up with the Uke Logic Soft tension 1/4 gold alloy. Oh, sorry.
Why
We kind of did.
Kiss of a Rose, Kiss from a Rose is is an amazing piece because you're led to believe, like as a musician, that it's in, G. You're playing a G major, but the following chord is a, E flat to an F, right?
Yeah.
And that's the chord progression from a G minor.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's genius is about it is like he made it work while singing the melodies. It starts in a G major, right?
It does. So it's interesting. It's like one of those songs that like switches between like major and minor throughout the entire piece. And there's like chordal like changes that happens that leads into the key change. So you're going from major to minor. For example, like this would be in the key of like what? D minor.
It could go both. Like if you play it in that context, you don't know if it's in
But then
D
when
minor.
you get into the main, like the first couple like words of the chord or the verse,
the verse.
so it goes to major.
But you like from
And
the
then back to
intro,
that.
the way it's played, that's genius to where this note was left out, so you don't know if it was major or minor. So when he leads into the first
next-
melody, you're
yeah.
like,
Because this could lead to like a lot of different places.
yeah. So when you leave that missing piece of the puzzle out, you don't expect that it's gonna go into a
The
major.
third isn't in most of the chords,
Yeah, so
so it's left up to.
I guess that
So
was one of the
there's like an
genius parts
extra
of it.
added note. That's
Yeah,
in there.
so like, because then
Or
you're led to
actually a
believe
couple.
from the first two chords, right?
Yeah.
You'd expect it to be a G minor.
And you know, it's also interesting too. It's like when there's like the bridge. You know, you hear all these like.
What's interesting, because with major chords you associate like a happy kind of feeling to it, right?
Yeah.
But when you break it down, that song rarely goes into major.
Yeah.
As that's a crazy part of the genius in the writing of the song, the genius in Seal himself. That was still one of my favorite songs. 1994.
Man.
Does that work? Was that good?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's funny. It's like there's all kinds of behind the scenes. 45 minutes ago, we did that, and I thought it was magical.
It was a good take.
I went put my headphones on and figured out that one of these mics was going bad for whatever reason, and so yeah, we just spent a while figuring that out and gave it another shot. Good job, guys. I think we might fizzle out from here, but Kalei, tell us, because one of the first videos, not maybe of the first, but in that first little era of YouTube, Hawaii Music Supply. You came over to our Wahiwa shop there, got in my little box of a room that sounded horrible, and we made a pretty cool video of Kiss from a Rose. And then I got you back a few months later to give a little tutorial on that.
Yeah.
But what inspired you to try to break that thing apart and make it an ukulele solo cover?
Well, first of all, the room that we recorded in, I don't think it sounded horrible because like that was the room with all of the super high-end instruments.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the McPherson guitars, and I remember back then like
it's a different thing recording versus being in a room. Like, I mean, it's not entirely different. And if I had that room over again, I would have designed the whole thing different because I built that acoustic room without a proper knowledge of acoustics at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you look at like, if you compare like even like the audio and video recordings from back then to now, there's like a huge difference in like how much like everything got awesome over the years. It was already good back then because nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, we kept trying our best, and eventually this is where we're at now.
Yeah, upgrading mics, upgrading
mics,
interfaces.
I think it's kind of
lights,
it's kind of cool to not have everything you want because it makes you try harder.
It does.
You know, after a while, I kind of figured things out a little bit better, and then I would do different things. For example, I recorded a song with Mike Love and Paula Fuga, "Misery's End," which is still one of our most loved videos.
Love
and
that song.
99% of that is because Paula and Mike are just so amazing. But I had them sit down for it, and even though that room wasn't ideal, if you get lower to the ground and you give yourself a higher headspace after that and your mics are really low, then you change the whole thing.
Sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so we recorded 2 songs on that session, and I didn't release the other because the other was standing up, and it just didn't sound half as good, you know. But it was a light bulb in my mind, and you just keep doing those things and you keep trying, and like over time you learn these little tricks and whatnot.
Yeah,
Imagine if we still had the shop. How badass of a room that would be right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be super
I
cool.
still am a little sad we gave up that spot because it was like 6,700 square feet.
And the rent was pretty insane.
I mean, it was okay. It's just, you know, but right now we're in historic Haleiwa, which is quite the town to visit if you're going to come to Hawaii, especially Oahu.
Yeah, definitely.
It's in my opinion the best of Oahu. It's like it's got the beautiful beaches. The town is really cool.
You know, there's
And
nobody.
it's got the best ukulele store.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I don't know.
but seriously, to see like where the videos and the audio has come over the years, like when you invited me to record "Kiss from a Rose," I mean, I was probably just out of high school, maybe like 19 years old, 19 or 20.
Yeah, so talk about like how that was. Like, how did you decide to try to work that out?
Well, first off, like "Kiss from a Rose" is one of my favorite songs from all time. It was featured in a movie called Batman Forever, which came out when I was roughly about like 7 or 8 years old. I think like Corey, you saw the movie, right?
I did. That's how. I mean, that's where I think I first heard it. My dad used to play a lot of Sting songs. I mean, not Sting. Seal.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because like
he
Seal
would
was
play
like,
that
at his
song.
peak during that time.
Yeah, he would play that song a lot. I'm like, I like that song. You know, hearing it from my dad playing it so much, it's like
That's awesome.
pretty imprinted in my brain.
Yeah. Like for
awesome.
me, it's like that was kind of like one of my favorite songs for like a long time. And then when I got into music and the ukulele, and then I started experimenting with like arranging, like I came across to a piano piece that was recorded from some time ago. I can't remember who the artist was, but that was kind of like the base of like my arrangement for "Kiss from a Rose." And I remember at that time, like, I didn't have any, I wouldn't say any knowledge, but not as much knowledge about, like, how musical structure, should be, and, what do you do in certain keys, and what type of, like, chord progression I'm playing. And so at that time, it was just, like, a big experiment and kind of like an adventure. And then eventually, after working on that arrangement for maybe about, like, 6 months, I finished it, but then it took like a while to get used to playing it, because you know how it is, like when you learn a new song, like you still got to practice like being able to play it efficiently. Yeah, you can play it from start to finish, but then like, can you play it good?
Yeah.
And so Kiss from a Rose was one of those arrangements where it just kind of kicked my butt, because like if you play it in the original key, which is in G major, you're constantly switching from playing down here in first position to kind of like playing way up here on the fretboard. Up until like the 15th fret on the A string, and I think it's a great song. I think you and I were talking about a YouTuber that kind of brought up like some of the musical, I guess, the greatness about the song.
Yeah, what's genius behind the writing of the song?
What makes it awesome? Because like, for one thing we can all agree on is that Kiss from a Rose is one of those R&B pop songs that really does sound very different from everything else that's being released nowadays. Even like during that era, it stood out.
And why it's unique.
Yeah. And what was that that term he kind of?
I think it was modal interchange.
Modal interchange, where
you're incorporating, I believe, the two minor and major.
Yeah, like scales. Two relative.
Yeah.
Keys.
And when you break it down,
I wouldn't say it's like G minor is like the relative major of G, but it's like the minor version of G major.
But how it's all arranged, where he played between both keys, major and minor.
Yeah.
And
made it work.
Executed it
perfectly.
It doesn't sound anything like, but that's kind of a common blues or even country thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To mix in your majors and your minors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Especially minors over majors.
Oh yeah, and I remember when like you asked me to record the tutorial. That was like one of the first experiences I had teaching. So I really had to spend a lot of time, kind of like going over, part A, part B, part C, and kind of thinking about like what, is the base of the beginning level of the song, and kind of work our way up from there. So that was like a good learning experience for me.
I feel grateful to be early in that cycle of, being in the zeitgeist and helping people. I mean, a lot of our early tutorials have, or some of them have, over 1 million views.
Yeah, so the ones with like Aaron,
mm-hmm.
Those were all shot over there too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we got a ton of Kamakas, and what's really cool, like I was just looking at the 6 and 8 strings. It's just like, man, these are beautiful. Like,
mm-hmm. They hooked it up.
I think you guys could see from the stuff we sampled tonight. Even their,
I mean, just look at the koa.
one thing I didn't talk about, but so with the regular Kamaka models, we prefer them in the semi-gloss. They just have this natural look already to them. Mm-hmm. It's got this smooth, awesome feel on the body and stuff. But when you get into these deluxe models, we order them in gloss just to show off these like upgraded woods and features and stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
We're at 12:59 right now, about to hit 1 o'clock, and I believe we do work tomorrow, which is today.
Today is not tomorrow. I was gonna do this stupid quote.
Corey's been working on these inspirational quotes all night, and like, maybe I could put a little compilation of them. I don't know if I'll spend the time to do that, but he's a funny guy. He's a good friend to have.
Try to entertain. Try to make. Yeah. I like when I see my friends laugh and smile.
I love your vibes. Sometimes Corey comes through the door in over here like Kramer. Just slide it.
Hey. I kind of got the slide on. I don't got any grip on my shoes. Maybe we can do it one day.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hey, guys.
All right, guys. I'm gonna start sleeping here soon.
All right, pull out a mattress.
All right.
All right. Hopefully this is a cool video. These are great kamakas either way. You guys, you're the best. And same to you.
Thank
we love you guys. Aloha. See you next time.
Oh, and we're doing tips. If you want to donate to our virtual tip jar.
No, we're not. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Mahalo.
Wait, say that again? Greatness takes a lifetime. But a lifetime takes greatness. That kind of makes sense if you deliver it that way. The best ukulele doesn't have to be played. The train is on the road, boys.
And it's a train wreck.